Okay, good morning everyone. Thank you for coming. My name is Eve Seiler and I'm presenting you the raw vegan SOS free lifestyle. And today's topic is about replacing dairy. So we grew up with dairy, like really creamy. So you can make a really nice creamy things with dairy, right? And it kind of tastes good. We're conditioned to eat dairy, but what is it actually? So every animal that's a mammal, they only give milk when they have a child, like we females too, right? We don't just give milk. Also, all animals, like us, female animals, they don't want to get touched by everyone on the breast, right? And cows are really smart animals, and they also don't want that. They get used to it because at some point they don't have a choice anymore. Even on small scale, I lived on a farm, and even they had only a few cows, and when the cows were new, they would really just fight them off their udders because they didn't want anyone to touch them. It's only for their babies. And even in small scale, there was always infections of the udders, and why are we drinking milk? Would you drink milk from your mother still when you're grown up? So why wouldn't you do that? I mean, it's your own species, so it's definitely better to drink mother's milk from your own mother than from a cow. That's about dairy. But of course we're grown up with it, so we like it, and taking something away from you that you are used to eat, it just creates a lack of something. You know, you're just still hungry. You want to eat something. So I don't want to take anything away from you, just giving you the consciousness about that. But I'll give you some other tasty foods that you might like. So we are going to make almond cheese today, and maybe salad dressings, but I'm not sure about that. But we're just going to talk about how you can replace the creaminess of dairy without having the pus in it, and you know.
Excellent.
So what we have here is almonds. So any kind of nuts and seeds, really, they make it creamy. And nuts are really healthy. They have really great fats and fiber with it, minerals as well. So they also have calcium, so they pretty much have everything that dairy has. Then I have sunflower seeds, but any kind of nuts and seed, really. I usually soak them in water overnight. So all seeds come with natural preservatives, and I want to wash that away to make them more digestible. So if you have problems with eating nuts, you get gas or stomach upset, you might want to try soaking them in water to make them more digestible.
Excuse me, will you be giving us a recipe?
No. Well, I have 2 ebooks that I give for free, but the almond cheese, I don't think it's in there really, but you can just write it down. Because usually I make new things here, so it's not really after a recipe. And that's what you also should learn, maybe because every day is different, every ingredient is different, so you just feel it, what you do. If you use high quality ingredients, nothing can go wrong, really. You might not get an almond cheese, but it will be tasty.
Soaking of the nuts, so that's purely just for digestion, or is there some kind of cooking element that changes when you do that?
Sure, yeah. They also get softer, so easier to blend. And they also get bigger. They increase in volume, so you have actually more to eat, so you get quicker full.
Do you skin your soaked almonds?
You could do that, but I'm not doing it.
Okay.
Yeah, those almonds, they're soaked for a night, and then I rinse them. And I like to use these mason jars and those sprouting lids.
Yeah.
You can also use those for sprouts. With the almonds, I just soak them overnight and then I use them. With sprouts, I would soak them also overnight, rinse them very thoroughly and wash them, and then just leave them upside down, like tilted on a plate, maybe like this. And then wash them twice a day, and they'll sprout then. And then you keep them like that for maybe 1 or 2 days extra. But nuts and seeds I'll just use as they are. And then, yeah, the almonds, you can peel. They call it blanched almonds, but blanch is actually heated heat processed. But if you soak them, they should be fairly
If
easy.
you-
Overnight.
If you do it as soon as you get them out of the water, they come off real easy.
Sometimes it's easier, sometimes not.
Is that for bitter
Maybe
purposes?
I'll.
Well, the skin's poisonous. It's like what they have in apricot kernels. So some people are very sensitive to the skin. I've soaked them for years, and after 2 days, I'm sorry. I apologize.
Yeah, so
That's
they
it.
they peel. Sometimes it's easier, sometimes it's a little hard. It also probably depends on the almond.
And how long do you soak it?
Maybe you have to soak them a little bit longer. Overnight. Those are soaked overnight. But it's just a lot of work too, so I just leave it unpeeled. The peel, I wouldn't say that toxic. They might have the not beneficial compounds that kind of upset you. But I believe if you soak them and wash them, you probably wash most of it out.
It's a tiny amount of arsenic.
Yeah.
That's all. I'm sorry, I didn't interrupt.
No. I mean, but if you soak them, it'll probably wash out too. I mean, even
No,
though
it's bound in the skin. You can't get it out of the
Just
skin.
like apple seeds,
Okay.
Not enough to
Well,
use.
it's up to you. If you want to peel it, you definitely can peel it.
Yeah.
But I'll just keep it in. Okay, and then to make the almonds, what else I use? So dairy is a little bit more sour, so I just use lemon juice. And then to make it more thicker and even less fat as well, we have some other things that we can add. We can also add chia seeds or flax seeds, like something that's thickening. Flax seeds have their own flavor. Chia seeds are usually black, but you can also have white chia seeds. Then psyllium is another thickening agent, or mucus, kind of like. You know, it's really good for your mucus as well. So I use it in ingredients too. And then there's Irish moss, which is a seaweed. It has a lot of salt in it because it comes from the ocean. It smells really funky too. But if you soak it in water, it looks like this.
What was that one?
Irish moss.
Moss?
Yeah, it's called Irish moss. It's a seaweed. It's there are different kinds too. So there's Irish moss that's more brownish, but I wouldn't recommend that. I didn't like that one. So, but this is more like the skin color Irish
It's a
moss.
seaweed.
Yeah.
You just soak it.
I soak it in water and then I'll really wash it well because it has a lot of salt. So you just. Oops.
Sometimes it has sand in it.
Yeah, it has also sand, so you really want to wash it well. Just wash it like this. And then I just soaked it this morning at 8:30. Just put it in water. You can soak it a little bit longer, then it gets even softer. But if you have a good high-speed blender, it should work like this.
What kind is it?
Irish moss.
Irish moss, that's right. Thank you.
Where's the best place to get that? Or brand?
The best place to get that is actually online, I think. And you probably get it in the store, but in the store everything is really expensive and like just a little amount.
Do you have a particular brand that you like?
Yes, so if you send me an email, I have a list with all the food items that I get online. So it's underneath that list. I think the brand I used was Terrasol. I like that, but yeah, so I wash it pretty well here.
Are you saying though to make the almond cheese you have to use Irish moss?
No, you don't have to. You can do it just with almonds. Just with almonds, I would say the base is pretty much almonds and lemon juice. So that's already pretty much enough. But if you want to have it a little bit more firmer maybe, or less fat, or healthier too, because this Irish moss has lots of minerals and so which is it's really, and also it's like slimy like the chia and the psyllium, so it's really good for your digestion. And it also is really good for your skin and hair and nails. So it has a lot of minerals. It's really healthy, I think. But yeah, but the base is pretty much, I would say, almonds and lemon juice, and then you just would blend it. And you can add the Irish moss, you can add or some other thickening agent. You can also put, what I always like is putting some celery in it for flavor and also reducing the fat content and make more volume. So maybe for that amount we just use like 2 celery sticks maybe. And you could also even add a tomato. Instead of water, just add a tomato in it. And then you could add some herbs like basil. I have basil. I think almonds go really well with basil. And yeah, so I guess we just start with the almond cheese. So I have, what you need is a high-speed blender. And it also, I mean, I have a small amount here because I didn't have much of the Irish moss anymore, and I wanted to show you that in how it looks. I mean, so you're not afraid if you buy it and it looks like that and it's really smelly and gross actually. So don't worry, just wash it in water and pretty much it's not, no, taste this.
It smells like the ocean.
It still smells a little bit, so maybe if you're, if you soak it really long, then it pretty much gets tasteless.
Like overnight, if you just soak it overnight, is that even better?
You could also soak it overnight, yeah.
Are you removing any of the health benefits when you soak it overnight?
No. No, it's still pretty much intact. I mean, if you soak it too long, of course, then it might spoil or get too mushy.
And you use
but-
other seaweeds like dulse or no?
No. I use this seaweed because it's skin color and it's more like slimy, and it doesn't have a strong flavor. Other seaweeds, they will have a flavor, but maybe you want to have an almond cheese with seaweed flavor. You could also do that. I mean, yeah, sure. You can do like an almond.
Is this a hard
Like
cheese
an almond
or-
spread with seaweed.
Is this a hard cheese or a cream cheese?
That would be like a cream fresh cheese. So I have to see. Usually I would make a gel first and make it really fine, but I don't know if I have enough amounts. I would just use the Irish moss and a little bit of water. Just do a little bit at a time, so it's more thick. But I have just a little amount. You can also make a larger amount, and then keep it in your fridge and use it for smoothies or put it anywhere. It's really healthy actually for you. So I'm just gonna blend this here. I do have only a small amount. It's always a little bit hard to blend. It's not really well blended. If you have a little bit more, then you can blend much better. So I always do the troubleshooting with it, with my Electro, so if you get in trouble, you might get in the same trouble like me now, you know?
That's the
But
fun.
that's totally fine, don't worry, it's all gonna be alright.
That's the fun time.
You could use the smaller blender, like a bullet or something? Or?
Yeah, you could, but you would, I mean, that's fine. So what we do, I'm not gonna make a gel and keep it in the fridge. If you wanna do it, of course you wanna use a little bit more, but I'll just use everything for the almond cheese and then add the almonds with it. That's fine, I mean, we can do it like that. So I'm just gonna add the almonds with it and also the other ingredients that we wanna put in.
What's the measurement on the almond?
Oh, that was 1 cup. I use 1 cup of almonds. And then the Irish moss, the dried, I just use a handful of it. And then I have 2 of the celery sticks and some lemon juice.
Is this on your YouTube channel?
This? Not yet, but I might do that.
Good.
Definitely want to have at least
How much lemon juice would you say?
At least 1. We'll see. But sometimes you need a little bit more even. If you don't use any salt, lemon juice is really great for replacing the salt, and the celery as well gives a lot of flavor. Let's start with 1 lemon and see how well that tastes. So. And just blend it. I don't put any other liquid in it, so I think it will be fine. Maybe I'll even put a little bit too much water in it. Sorry, it's very loud. We probably need a little bit more liquid. But it's better to start with less liquid and then add more. Also, if you want to if you make a salad dressing, you don't pour the whole liquid in that you want, or you start with a little bit less. So if it's less liquid, then it will blend a little bit better and more creamy. And then after you can add a little bit more if you want to have it more thinner.
What consistency are you looking for? Thick cream,
That's
yogurt?
really up to you. So this is now really, really thick. So that's kind of nice, but it needs to be blended a little bit better. Probably the Irish moss will thicken up a little bit more once it's really blended.
Don't you want a consistency like cream cheese, that type?
Yeah, it's a little bit firmer, right? Yeah, so I try to do that. But also you have to, sorry, it's so loud. But also you have to be able to blend it. And let's see. Maybe you do need some more liquid. Or maybe you need
Another
some
half a
more.
lemon.
Maybe we need some more lemon. Let's try the flavor. Maybe. It's already really lemony, actually. It has a good flavor already. Of course, if I pour a little bit more water in, I'll take away a little bit. But I don't think it needs a lot of water. So maybe I'll just pour a little bit of water. I think that should be it. So we'll be able to blend it more. It's already good like it is now. It's kind of creamy, but if you want to have it like really creamy. Yeah, even though I didn't peel the almonds, it's pretty light. Of course, if you peel the almonds, it's gonna be more light, even more nicer. But it'll take some time, but
How long do you think that keeps in the refrigerator?
maybe 3 days or probably a week too. Like cooked food too.
Yeah.
It's not much different than
Well,
cooked
and
food,
lemon's a
but
great
you
preservative.
see how that looks. It's pretty nice
Yummy,
and
looks
creamy.
good.
So let's put it. Oh yeah, and then I have the basil. Of course, you could have blended the basil right in there, but it will color your whole cheese green.
That's cool.
If you want that, that's totally cool.
Who doesn't want green cheese?
But you can also, if you want to keep the cheese more white, but still want to add basil, then you can just chop the basil in it.
What kind of cheese equivalent is this, would you say?
Like ricotta, yeah.
Right.
And then I also made once a more pizza cheese, like the one that's a little bit more sticky, and I made that with some kind of nuts, like some, for example, sunflower seeds, and then chia seeds or flax seeds, which makes it more like slimy, sticky, and then you add turmeric to make it more yellowish, and you can add some onion powder, which makes it cheesy. If you use nutritional yeast, of course, that's gonna make it really cheesy. But I personally don't use it, so instead I would use some dried onions. Use some more basil. Basil is really great for almond cheese, especially. You can leave it like that, of course, and then also eat it with sweets like fruits, dates. You can fill a date with it. Yeah, but we're gonna make it a little more savory with basil. And yeah, I always use a lot of herbs, really. I'm not stingy with herbs. Then yeah, either you want to have a complete green almond cheese, or you want to have the white cheese and some almond chopped in it. Then I'll just take the almond out. Where should I put it? Put it in here. And then yeah, the Irish moss will actually thicken a little bit. Once it's completely blended, it'll take some time to thicken even more. So that's actually a good thing.
So if you could put it in the refrigerator for a while and let it sit, it would probably thicken.
Expand.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Irish moss is also great because it does not, I mean, once you wash it really well, it does not have a lot of flavor. So you can also use it for desserts, thickening up, like for cakes, things like that.
You know, I've made something similar, and I wanted a hard cheese, so I put it in the dehydrator.
Oh yeah, you could do that.
Oh.
Even you can ferment it even if you put some, yeah, if you're good with fermenting things, you can also ferment that now.
You put the cheese you made in the dehydrator?
Yes.
Roll out thin slices.
I put it in like a, you know.
A
some
cheesecloth
of those-
or something?
Yes, you can do that and drain it, but I've also put it in one of those little, you know, those little pans for gifts at Christmas time, and let the top firm up, and then I turn it out and let the bottom firm up.
Oh, wow. It can only be so high.
Well, it depends, you can take out shelves, but I still didn't make it real high.
Probably wasn't taller than a half inch or an inch, probably.
Yeah.
There we go. There's your
Not
answer.
an inch.
That looks delicious.
And then we have our
Beautiful.
With a knife?
nice almond cheese with herbs.
How long did that take?
It's not much work,
I don't
right?
really
Just you
remember.
put it in the blender and that's
Just
it.
kinda have
Very
to
simple.
Test it. Depends
Just a
how-
little bit more
how
thinking
moist it
and
is at the beginning. But-
adjusting to a new kind of preparing, you know? Instead of using the oven, you just use the blender, and you need to think a little bit more about your food, what you're gonna make, so because you're preparing it and soaking it overnight, maybe.
You wanna talk about how to ferment it?
How to ferment it? I probably would ferment it without the basil, that's for sure. And then you could either add a probiotic and then leave it on your counter, a little bit covered, and then that's pretty much it. And sometimes you don't even need a probiotic, but I make my own sauerkraut, so I would use a little bit of my sauerkraut juice maybe to jumpstart it. But one time I also just left coconut, so blended coconut, the young coconut flesh with the water, and then I left that on the counter, and the next day it was already fermented just by itself. Yeah, fermenting is a little bit tricky. So
Do you ever make a rutulak?
no, yeah, I tried that, but it didn't. That was not really my thing. Yeah, that's the almond cheese with basil.
Beautiful.
And then how I eat that, you can actually make a nice salad with a lighter dressing maybe, like just vegetables. You can blend lemon juice with celery and red bell peppers and herbs, and then pour it over your salad, and then put some pieces of your almond cheese on top. Or you can also have like some slices and like for I call it I call it like a zucchini bread. So I'm gonna make zucchini bread out of a zucchini. So just slice it like this. A bigger zucchini, of course, would be a little bit more fortunate, but just have this here. So when I make in less than 1 minute, I made zucchini bread. You're laughing now, but it tastes actually really good. Simple doesn't mean that it's boring or anything.
Of course.
But our mind is so complicated. We always want to have a specific recipe and then take a lot of time, but simple is actually pretty good. And then of course you can have some crackers with the big carrot maybe. You can do that. Mandoline is probably better for this, but if you maybe slice it a little bit like this. Make it a little bit tilted. So I'm making some carrot chips, yeah, pretty fast. You can try that. Of course, with your dehydrator, you can also make really nice crackers, but you don't have to. So, and then of course you can have celery sticks with it.
I tried the zucchini in the dehydrator, they turn out to be like chips.
Oh yeah.
And then they keep for months
Mhm.
in jars.
Yeah, they pretty much keep forever if you dry them. Some celery sticks maybe. And yeah, well, I also have this here, the sunflower seeds, which you can use for dressing, make your dressing creamy. But I don't know if we do have some time, so. I'm just gonna cut for this, I would cut a tomato. Almond cheese and tomato are really great. Needs to have tomato. have you pretty much, it's pretty quick and easy. But how I would eat it, I'm just gonna eat it for you now. Who's fasting? Oh, not so many, no. So I need to eat it for you. So I will just have my zucchini bread, 1 tomato, and then some almond cheese on top. Maybe that's a little bit too much. And that's my little bread.
Beautiful.
I'm just gonna eat it. It's not hard to eat. It's really delicious too.
You can even glue those together with your cheese.
What?
You can even glue those together with your cheese so they don't fall apart. I'm just joking with you.
Maybe you could, but
Having some fun.
probably we'll squeeze out now. No, that's pretty much it. You realize how great zucchini bread actually tastes. The same thing you can do with a cucumber. You can also have like cucumber bread like this. If you cut it like a bread. Okay, should we? Oh, I also have the jicama. So it's same with jicama. You can, you know jicama?
Yes.
The root, we have it as cubes there, but you can just peel it and then slice it like crackers or bread as well. I could call it also jicama bread if you cut it like a piece of bread. That's pretty good too.
What's the name of the weed that you, seaweed that you
The seaweed,
used?
Irish moss.
And the other one that you used here?
That's Irish moss. Yeah, I
it's
use
the
that.
same?
I use exactly that Irish moss.
Oh, okay.
I just soak it in water. It's the dry, and you see all the salt in it. So
Thank you.
and yeah, I don't. Well, I maybe for the dressing didn't bring enough vegetables, but we can make the dressing a little quick, probably. I can just show you the idea. I only brought no basil, but my base for a dressing, for a creamy dressing in this case, just always celery. I always use celery because celery doesn't have its own flavor. It's just a little bit more salty. So you can see. I mean, I'm gonna make it like a really, really simple dressing now, without lots of herbs. But you can always add your herbs, your favorite herbs to dressing. So I'm just gonna use celery. I always like to use celery. We don't need to clean the blender. It's a little bit almonds in there, that's fine. And then tomatoes. I don't use any water for my dressings usually. No water at all. Because water takes away the flavor of a nice dressing. So I use high water content vegetables like tomatoes. Celery also has some water, not much. Red bell pepper has water. But we have tomatoes here, so I'm just gonna use tomatoes. And you can also use a cucumber. Usually I use either cucumber or tomatoes. Yeah, if you want to keep that a little more lighter in color, you would peel the cucumber too. Sometimes I would even recommend it because they treat that with oil or something or wax. And I wouldn't recommend eating the peel then. But if you want to have a green dressing, that's totally fine too then. Cucumbers have a lot of water, so that's a good base for a dressing. But tomatoes as well. Maybe it's too much. Maybe it's too much, I don't know. And then always lemon juice. Like the most important ingredients for a dressing is lemon juice and celery, I think. And then you would add some kind of seeds or nuts even. Or maybe no seeds at all. You can also just have celery and lemon juice. But I mean, today is about replacing dairy, so we're gonna make it creamy.
Do you ever use apple cider vinegar or no?
Sometimes I would use that too, yeah. It's up to you. You can use any vinegar as well.
In place of the lemon.
Yeah. Sometimes I don't have lemons and I would use raw fermented apple cider vinegar.
Yeah.
I prefer lemon. to be honest. You could also have lime juice, limes. But definitely I would encourage to buy the whole lemons. And then just have a really nice tool to juice it quick. There are other tools too. I have a citrus press at home, a hand press. It's not really hard to just juice the fresh lemon and not buy the packaged lemon juice. I would not recommend buying that. Yeah, I used a half cup of those seeds here. I'm gonna. Sometimes it's hard to get the seeds out, so I use a strainer. Especially if you have, for example, a dressing with sesame seeds are really great. But sesame seeds are so tiny, never get them out of your sprouting jar. So I use a strainer and then just put water in here, strain it, and then you have your seeds in here.
So when you're making the dressing of the cheese, could you use cashews as well?
Yeah, you can use any nuts and seeds if you want. Cashews, I personally don't use much because they're usually not really raw. But of course, if you like cashews make it really, really tasty. I have to admit, cashews make it. They have less of their own flavor, like almonds and sunflower seeds, but a lot of creaminess. So probably, if you want to really have it like dairy-like, then you want to use cashews.
Or what don't you like about them?
They're usually not really raw. They're heat treated while they peel them.
Oh,
So I want to keep it raw. But if you don't want to keep it raw necessarily, that's fine. Then cashews are really great.
So what percentage of raw are you?
100%. No, I don't like any cooked food anymore.
So if it says raw, are they not really being completely
Yeah,
honest?
there's no
Guaranteed?
I guarantee
What
that's
if
really
they're
raw.
sprouting?
If they're sprouted, depends. Really depends. Some say that they are raw, and if you try sprouting them, but they're very expensive, so I just stopped
If
using
they sprout,
them.
if they sprout, they have to be raw. They can't have been cooked in any way. So if they show up sprouted, you see a little sprout at the bottom, they're in good shape. But they are hardly raw.
They have to say raw. Not just one
Double raw.
Well, they need to be more specific. Like in our process, they never get heated, and sometimes they are a little bit more specific about that.
There are a couple suppliers that
And we have all really, really simple dressing, base of a dressing. It's very creamy, actually. And yeah, it's really thick, actually. So you would think, that's kind of thick for my dressing. But if you mix it with your salad, and the salad has a lot of liquid too, so usually you lose the dressing on a salad. So if it's a little bit thicker, that's actually nicer to have.
That would be good on a coleslaw, maybe?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you can mix it with coleslaw as well. I didn't put any spices and herbs here, so it's a little bit very simple.
Which sesame seed did you put in? How much sesame seed? Sunflower seed.
Those were sunflower seeds. They were half a cup
Before they were soaked.
before they were soaked. If they're soaked, they're expanding a little bit.
Yeah. One of the things I often do is after I get as much out as I can, I will add water and to the blender and so I don't have to work so hard to get everything out.
Yeah, that's right. If you have a dressing and you want to make it actually more thinner, then you would put it out first, then rinse the blender with water, and then pour it in. Yeah, you could do that. But this one, I would prefer keeping it like that. Sometimes I would just also blend it with water and then drink it myself.
Yeah, I've been known to do that.
Good, it's good.
Best way to clean the blender.
Yeah, that's right. Especially if you make something with coconut, the coconut cream, then you can make coconut milk after. Okay, so it's really simple. So I would, if I had more herbs here, I would maybe put parsley in it, or also basil, whatever really. Black pepper, if you like that, or chili. Any kind of herbs and spices that you like, you can put here. It's just a base of a sunflower tomato dressing. Yeah, I only put the sunflower seeds, celery, lemon juice, and tomato in here. But it's already, I mean, it'll be, you'll see, it's already kind of flavorful, hopefully. Yeah, so that's about it. So if you want to try anything or you have any more questions, but I think that's pretty much it for today. Thank you for
Thank you. What are your favorite herbs when you make dressing?
I love parsley. Parsley is super healthy. It has lots of iron, lots of vitamin C. It lowers blood pressure, I've read recently. It has lots of vitamin K, so it's super, super healthy, and I like the flavor of it too.
Do you ever use the French herbs or the Provence, any kind of?
I like to use fresh herbs.
Yeah.
So
okay.
I like to
the
use
fresh variety. Of
yeah,
herbs.
thyme. You can use thyme as well, and
Thyme, marjoram.
marjoram. Yeah, any. I like actually every herb,
Oregano, yeah.
but parsley is especially also healthy, and cilantro. I like cilantro too. Yeah, anything. Really.
Excellent. All right.
Yeah.
What made you decide to go raw, completely raw?
What do you do?
Why did you become raw?
Oh,
How long
why?
have you become raw?
I think I started with fasting and cleansing, and that's a really clean diet. So after the fasting and cleansing, I just felt like just want to stay. Definitely after the fast, there was also here you usually eat raw first because it's very light for the body, and then I'll just stay with it. It was really gradually, but I stayed for a few weeks just raw, and then I realized that I don't like cooked food anymore so much, so it didn't make me feel good, and I just feel really great now. And I think also it keeps you younger if you get older, you know.
How long have you been raw? How many
5
years?
years.
5 years, excellent.
Mm-hmm.
So were you vegan before your fast?
No, not really. I was almost vegan, like once a month I would eat meat. I stopped eating dairy because I realized dairy is really not great and so unnecessary. And when I stopped eating dairy, skin was much better. Digestion, sure, and the allergies. I had some food allergies that they went away. Yeah.
Beautiful. Where are you from originally? Austria?
Germany,
Germany. Right. Where in Germany?
the middle of Germany.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've been there. I have friends there. I just asked.
Oh, okay. Okay, anyone wants to try it?
So start with.